Ladies and gentlemen, 8 years ago we announced a heavy penalty on the Bulldogs for large breaches of the salary cap. At the time, all clubs publicly supported the need for a salary cap system in our game. Our clubs continue to support the benefits that the cap brings to rugby league. Over the last few weeks, it's come to light that the Storm has engaged in a long-term system of operating what might conveniently be called two sets of books. To their credit, this morning the Storm representatives have come in and confessed to a well-organised system of paying players outside the cap. On what we know, this amounted to $1.7 million over the last 5 years, including approximately $700,000 in 2010. The elaborate lengths that they went to hide the payments was quite extraordinary. The breakthrough in the investigation was the discovery by the salary cap auditor and his team of a file in a separate room at the Storm to the room that contained the file with the players' contracts outlining payments to the players not declared to us. These payments have allowed them to recruit and retain some of the best players in the game. The results of their practices on the field speak for themselves. This is not a time to debate the cap. The rules are the rules. Everyone in this competition knows them. Particularly after the Bulldogs, they knew the risk they were taking. There's no alternative for the NRL in terms of penalty. The penalty will be the stripping of 3 minor premierships and 2 premierships. The return of $1.1 million in prize money that will be distributed to the other 15 clubs evenly. A fine of $500,000. In the 2010 season, all competition points earned thus far will be taken away, and the team shall not accrue any further points in the 2010 season. To Melbourne's credit, they've accepted the penalty in full. Thank you.
David, does it mean that the 2 premierships are going to take off? Do the sides that were beaten by them, do they actually not reference?
No, they won't be awarded the premierships.
So the record books will say?
The record books will say that the premierships for 2007 and 2009 are stripped.
So are you at liberty to say what players are involved in the salary cap breach?
Not at this stage.
Maybe disgusted by the Storm's behaviour?
I'm very disappointed.
You said from what we know, are you saying there could be larger broadening of the cap than what this been?
To the Storm and News' credit, they've indicated that a full forensic audit through a large firm of accountants will immediately be undertaken to reveal the full extent of what was going on.
Can I just pick up on a couple of...
We just give John a chance to say some words.
Can I just say good afternoon, everyone? I'd like to say a couple of things. One, that I believe today is a very deeply regrettable day, certainly for sports fans generally, but certainly for rugby league fans. My knowledge of this has been only over the last few days, and certainly the gravity of it only since last night. But I feel a number of emotions. I certainly feel angry. I feel very, very disappointed, and quite frankly, I feel sick in my stomach by it. News doesn't tolerate behaviour like this, and later on I'll explain why I believe that it wasn't picked up in the checks and balances that we have as a company and as a board. I would like to say that while the penalties are unprecedented, I believe they are warranted. And that to take premierships and minor premierships off a club, that's unknown territory in sport in Australia. I think what you're going to see and hear of is collusion at such a level and such an orchestrated level of deceptive conduct that you may understand why, over a period of years, 5 years, some $1.7 million was able to be fraudulently misappropriated in smaller, very much smaller increments over that period. We've moved, I think, very swiftly this morning. We've brought the management of the Storm to Sydney for an emergency meeting with ourselves. Ultimately, that has gone to the NRL to tell them of their activities, and as David said, I think they now have a full understanding of what has transpired. The things that we've done, we've appointed this morning Deloitte, an accounting firm, to look forensically at every aspect of the Storm's financial affairs and everything to do with the management of their business. Secondly, we have stood down 2 members of the senior management team within Storm. Thirdly, we've appointed, I think, respected Administrator Frank Stanton to be caretaker CEO. And finally, we haven't formed a view about other people within the club, but we'll await the results of that forensic inquiry to see if there are going to be further actions taken about anyone associated with the club. Again, I'm totally open, as is David, to any questions you may have.
I may, before we come to this part of it, I'll move you to say a few words perhaps as well, so that all the parties at least have to say something.
Thank you, John. Thank you, David and John. Well, obviously on behalf of the club, we'd like to apologise to the Australian people, to rugby league followers and to Melbourne Storm fans. We are appalled, we're angry like John. We do accept the referee's decision. The rules are clear, as David said. We've broken them. We offer no excuses whatsoever. We're obviously devastated by the penalties. It is an unbelievable blow. It's obviously the lowest day for the club. And it's a question of how we can rebuild, but obviously we, in a sense, betrayed the trust of the Australian public and not played by the rules. The Storm is full of good people, great fans. They'll be the biggest sufferers. To them, again, we offer our apologies.
Well, you say you're appalled and you're angry, but yet you cheated.
Well, I guess the point about this is that, as a board, knew about it on 13th of April at 1:35. I can tell you exactly the time I learned about what's going on. Maybe naive, but we did not have a sort of an inkling into the level, to the consistency, as David and John have pointed out, of what's going on. Again, that's our responsibility as a board. We take that responsibility. But it's happened and it was hidden. But again, as a board, we have to take that responsibility and move on.
Try and walk the man to take responsibility.
Look, the investigation will reveal this, obviously, about who was really behind what was going on.
John, I mentioned collusion. Who was involved in the collusion?
As I said, there are a couple of people that have been stood down. There are other people that I believe are involved that are no longer with the club. Our inquiries so far have identified 5 people who knew about the effort to conceal these payments. We can only act on those that are directly in our employ now. The collusion, and I think the very, very important thing to understand is the checks and balances that we have on any business, let alone a rugby league club, is that we have an external audit, which in the case of the Storm was conducted on an annual basis by Ernst & Young. We have an internal audit. With salary cap breaches not uncommon over recent years, we also had management on a quarterly basis agree to a written explanation of the fact that they were conforming within the cap, and that was delivered to us with the signatures of the senior management. So there's fraud involved.